Hi guys, and welcome to eBusiness Boss. My name's Sam, and today I'm going to be talking to you about all things Amazon repricing, specifically our journey at eBusiness Boss, the different types of repricing methods we've used, and why now we lean towards using RepricerExpress, particularly for one model of our business. So on the different types of models we do, we are a private label seller, so that's where we brand our own products, and we do online arbitrage where we look for deals on other people's branded products, places like Walmart, Argos, Tesco's, whatnot, and sell them on for a profit on Amazon. So they're the two different models that we do, and we've got quite successful businesses for both of them. So hopefully what I'm going to bring you today can help you push your business on to the next level. The reason I'm actually doing this review is because repricing was something that, particularly with OA, took us a while to get to grips with. But then once we did, it's been game changing and taken the business to another level. So I thought we could bring you some real value today for anyone who might be in that situation where they're to and fro and not knowing the best route to take with their repricing. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to talk you through our journey with regards to repricing. I'm going to tell you what I like about RepricerExpress, and I'll also dive in and have a little look around the software just to give you an inside look so you can see if it's something that might interest you. So that's what we're going to do. And then if you hang on till the end, I've got a handy promo code for you that you can use should you decide to go ahead and subscribe to RepricerExpress. So if we get going, let's go on to the first slide. Okay, so here we are. Sort of talked about it just now, but it is really important that you get to grips with the pricing and repricing of your Amazon business. It can't be understated. As soon as we did get to grips with it, particularly with OA, it took the business to another level. It means you can get more consistent sales, and then with that, little things like stock management and that become a lot easier as well. So I just wanted to reiterate before going into a bit more detail that it is really important that you do address your pricing and repricing of your Amazon business. So what are the repricing options? Well, I've sort of narrowed it down to four, or the four that we've experienced and we've used and still use today. So let's talk through those. What I've called option one is essentially if you decide not to reprice your product. You add it to Amazon, set the price, and just leave it at that. Option two is where you might manually change the price of your product. So there you are, you're checking your prices, you're keeping an eye on the performance of the product, and then manually making price adjustments until you get to a point where you're happy or the sales start to become more consistent again. Option three is to use Amazon's own repricer software. Amazon have their own repricer called Automate Pricing, and this will automatically adjust your product's price based on certain settings that you input within their system. So that's option three, and that's free. And then option four is to use a paid software, for example, like RepricerExpress. So there's external paid for softwares out there that will sync to your Amazon account and all of your products, and then they will change the price of your products and even move products to different rules and things like that based on the settings that you input. However, there's a reason that these are paid for, and it is because there's a lot more options, which I'll show you as we go through the presentation, compared to Amazon's free repricer. So that's sort of why they can charge, is because they offer more, basically. And as I've said at the bottom of the slide, we actually have experience of using all four of these different repricing options, three of which we still implement today in either our private label or OA business. So yeah, they're useful, but hopefully by the end of this you'll realise that certain methods are better for certain business models. So let's keep going. So my repricer journey, or should I say our repricer journey at eBusiness Boss. Well, specifically I put PL there because with our private label business, we currently opt for a mix between option one and option two that I've just talked about. So when we launch a product, we'll do all our analysis and we'll decide on a price point that we think is about right, that fits in line with the profit margin we want to make, what are competitors selling at, all those sorts of things. We'll set the price and then we'll leave it. However, where option two comes in is if after a while we notice that maybe sales have dropped or whatever, then or competitors' prices have changed and then the whole market starts to shift, then we might start implementing option 2. This is where I will decide to tweak and play around with the price up or down and see how it affects sales. And then again, look to find a sweet spot where we can get the price back to somewhere that we're happy with, but also we're generating plenty of sales. And then again, that's where we would revert back to option 1 and leave it a nice fixed price again, where it just sits there until we maybe reevaluate it again if we notice differences. So that's how it's gone with private label. Start with option 1, leave it a fixed price, and then if we need to, we'll implement a bit of a manual change in price with option 2. So far, using this strategy, we've successfully grown a 7-figure private label business, and that's to this date. Hopefully it's going to grow even bigger. So for us, this method works just fine, and we haven't needed to use Amazon's Repricer or a paid one. We haven't felt the need to do that. So that's where we're at with regards to private label and how we price and reprice. So let's have a look at the other options. So my Repricer journey, OA. So OA being online arbitrage. This could relate to retail arbitrage. This could relate to wholesale as well. It's essentially the same sort of issues you're going to have with repricing. So as I've said here, when we ventured into online arbitrage, because we did private label first and then went into online arbitrage, a lot of people do it the other way around, but that's how we did it. We soon realised that the manual pricing and repricing methods that we'd been using for private label, they weren't going to work for online arbitrage. You have an ever-changing inventory. You're constantly buying new deals and new products. You've got lots of different listings. There's low stock on them. It's very hard to manage what's going on as it is with online arbitrage, let alone manually pricing and repricing those products. Not to mention the fact that, as I've said in the spreadsheet here, the presentation here, that we'd always been used to owning the buy box. We'd been private label sellers. There was no one else on our listings. So this new model where we were sharing the listing with other sellers, it just opened our eyes to how fierce it gets and how these price wars really do kick in with these sorts of listings. So we did, like I said, we did try the manual methods to begin with for a good time, but it was just far too time consuming. It was very complicated keeping on top of everything, and also our sales weren't going how we wanted them to. And one of the areas we decided might be impacting that is the repricing. If we can't stay competitive on price because we're manually doing it and we're not on top of it all the time, then maybe that's why we weren't selling what we wanted to. So that's when we started looking a bit further and decided, okay, what can we do about this? So this is what led us to using Amazon's Automate pricing. And the reason we went there is because what we normally do with anything, and it's what we've always done really, is if there's a free option, we'll try that first and see how we get on. Now, we realised Amazon had their own Automate repricing software, or add-on should I say, and we decided to test that out. And this is option 3 that I've outlined earlier. So we do 1 and 2 for private label. We tried 1 and 2 for online arbitrage. It wasn't working. We then moved on to option 3, which is Amazon's Automate pricing. At first, we really liked it because it basically, once you set it all up, it takes away all the grief of the manual part, which is going in, changing min and max prices, changing rules, things like that. Once you've put it in there, Amazon then do it for you. So that was great. It was saving loads of time, and sort of within a day or two, we could notice that our prices were changing automatically, which was great to see. The next good thing to see was that we saw, after about a week, we saw a nice increase in sales. Again, because we were more competitive. We were winning the buy box because we were able, Amazon was automatically adjusting our price. We could stay competitive. Whereas before, when I was doing it manually, it was so hard to keep on top of, and we were just losing out on sales. However, despite those good points, and they were good points, it was like we hit a ceiling almost, and there were certain things we started to notice that weren't working within Amazon's automated pricing and what they offered. After about 3 months, sales weren't really where we wanted them at. They'd got a bit better, but it sort of stagnated a little bit. And the biggest eye-opener was we'd seen a load of products that hadn't actually sold, or maybe they'd sold 1 or 2, despite implementing the repricer. And for some of them, we were beginning to enter the dreaded Amazon long-term storage fees, which obviously everyone wants to avoid. So this sparked a bit more investigation. So this is where I'm talking about what led to RepricerExpress. So all that I've just talked about, it got me thinking that there must be a way that you can identify these slow-moving products, or your products that have got a lot of stock that you need to get rid of, and then a way of automatically moving those products based on criteria that you set over to a new rule that's more aggressive, and then we'll hopefully sell them on quicker. So I began doing research online, and that's what led me to RepricerExpress, which is option 4, which is a paid repricing software. The reason I had to go with RepricerExpress is because it was coming up a lot on Amazon blogs. I went on various forums and blogs, and loads of people were recommending it. So I then went on their website, and when I saw there was a free trial, as I said earlier, we love free stuff here at eBusiness Boss. We tried that first. We gave that a go because we thought we could get in there, test it out, and it was a no-brainer really, and see if it was actually worth it. Well, genuinely here, I realised that this was game-changing software within about a day and a half, 2 days of going in, playing around with it all. It was so obvious that it was going to take the business to the next level. And as I've said in the presentation, the rest is history. We've not looked back since using RepricerExpress for our OA business. And there's a few little things that I'd probably change and whatnot, but overall it's just been brilliant. So having outlined our journey and how we've got to RepricerExpress, I think I now owe it to you guys to tell you why it is we love it so much. So that's what I'm going to go and do now. So let's get going. So why RepricerExpress? Well, as you can see, I've written it there, user-friendly. It's so simple. It's user-face, the tabs, everything, the way it's laid out, it's so easy to follow and understand that I know there's some softwares I've used, and it just the way it's laid out is just ugly, and I've not found it very useful or very easy to use, and instantly I'm put off. Whereas RepricerExpress, it's just so nicely put together, basically. I know it's quite a simple thing to bring up as a plus point, but it's a big thing for me with using softwares. I have to like using it, and RepricerExpress I definitely do. Tutorials. Now, this was massive for me because, again, not every software you use give you what you need to know to get on. I mean, I've signed up to so many where they're happy to take your money and you sign up, but then working out how to use it is so difficult. There's no instructions, nothing. Whereas RepricerExpress are one of the better softwares we've used, I think, in terms of offering not just written tutorials, but video tutorials as well. It's almost dummies guides, do you know what I mean? It's so easy to do and follow. I don't think you can really go wrong with it. So their tutorials was a big plus point for me. It meant I could almost get RepricerExpress up and running instantly, rather than have to work out how to do everything. So that was, brilliant plus point. Extra data. Now, I've written extra data. Really what I mean here is sales data. So when I signed up to RepricerExpress, I was doing it because I wanted to get to grips with my repricing. What I didn't know is that there'd be a hive of sales data attached to that. So you can analyze how your repricer settings are working, how they're affecting your sales. It's all just fantastic. There's so much data on it. You can see your buy box, how much often you're winning the buy box, all these sorts of things. And this is across all your marketplaces as well. So if you're like us and you sell in the UK and the rest of Europe, it's just great to see how all your sales are going across all the different marketplaces and how your repricer is affecting the sales. So it was just, it's a great, to be honest, I think I probably log in to RepricerExpress more than I do my Amazon account, because RepricerExpress has all the sales data, which I'd normally go onto Amazon to check anyway. But alongside that, you've got all the repricer details. So it's just fantastic. And I like the way it's laid out as well. Really easy to see how your sales are going. So that basically was just an added bonus I wasn't looking for when I got RepricerExpress, but one I really like and use daily. So again, I wanted to put it in here as a plus point because it's probably something that you didn't really think of, like I didn't. Time saver. This is definitely one of the biggest plus points for me. I mean, as I've said, when I was doing the manual repricing, especially, it was just taking so much time. And what that does is, Nick talks about it in some of our other videos about why we outsource tasks and things like that. You create bottlenecks within your business, and this was a massive one for us, especially with OA, because I was spending so much time repricing that I wasn't able to grow other parts of the business. So the second we sorted the repricing out and we're using RepricerExpress, I've then been able to source more. I've been able to do other bits and bobs that have grown the business. So it's a time saver, which in turn has helped me grow the business. So it's just, yeah, really, really good. The rule options. So like I said, Amazon's automate pricing. You can set up rules and things like that, and they are good. The difference is with RepricerExpress, it's the amount of different variables and scenarios you can factor in and account for, create rules for almost anything. And it's just, yeah, really good and pushes way beyond what Amazon automate pricing can offer, which means you can tailor all sorts of different rules alongside automations, which I'll touch on in a minute, where it means you can basically increase sales. It's just, yeah, brilliant. Improve your likelihood of winning the buy box, all those sorts of things. And also, yes, there's the profit protection is a massive bonus of RepricerExpress. And what that actually is it enables you to drive the price up on a listing to increase your profits. And specifically, you can do this at night. So you might set a certain period, I don't know, between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. when everyone's asleep to drive the price right up, so that anybody else that's using a repricer might move with you. You can increase the price, so by the time people start buying again in the morning, the price for the buy box is higher, and then that means any sales you make early in the day, you're making more money. It's a really clever piece of kit, and we've seen some quite nice profits in early morning sales because of that. So that's something that's really good as well. Automations, yeah, I've touched on those. They're amazing. It's basically what I was looking for when we were moving away from Amazon's automate pricing. It was the bit that was missing from that. How can I automatically, based on some criteria I put in, get a product to move from one rule to another to try and get it to sell? And it's just so good. And you can see it working within RepricerExpress. And it's really quite satisfying to see these things working and paying off. It's been particularly good, like I said, for that initial reason I was looking for it, where we're looking to sell off old stock. So you might have a product that's in a certain rule and hasn't sold for 90 days, for example. You could have that. You could set a trigger. So if this product doesn't sell within 90 days, I want to move it to another rule. And that other rule might be a more aggressive rule. So what I mean by more aggressive is that your minimum price that you're willing to sell it at might be less. So therefore, you're more likely to win the buy box and make sales. And with automations, it does all that automatically. So it's just fantastic. And alongside that, we basically haven't, since going to RepricerExpress and setting up automations, we haven't had any Amazon long-term storage fees. We've avoided them completely. So it really is so valuable with regards to that sort of thing. But there are also many other automations that you can set up for different scenarios. But the one we found really, really useful is for old stock and preventing you getting those Amazon long-term storage fees. So yeah, that's automations. So let's see what else I've got to say about RepricerExpress. So templates, yes. So I've just talked about rules, automations, all these types of things, and you might be thinking, well, I don't even know what any of that means. Well, alongside the tutorials that RepricerExpress offer, which will explain that, they give you a load of ready-made templates, both for rules and for automations, so you can just get going straight away. They're that good that despite us becoming better and understanding what we want more and how to use the software, all these sorts of things, we have created a few of our own, but some of these templates are that good that we still have them in place now. So yeah, they're just brilliant for getting you started. So that's a really handy little add-on there from RepricerExpress. So stock management. I've touched on this with automations, but basically whatever goal you have, whether that's to get rid of old stock or whether you actually want to slow down sales because you're worried about running out of stock, you can set up a rule, an automation to cater to that need. And again, it's been so good in that. We've got various different rules and automations set up to cater to different stock management needs. We've not encountered any Amazon long-term storage fees since implementing RepricerExpress, so it's just been brilliant. So yeah, let's see what else I've said about it. Yes, the bulk edits and imports. Now, again, you might have sat there thinking it'd be quite daunting setting up all of your min and max prices for your products, Or what if I want to change a load of them at the same time? Have I got to do it individually? Things like that. Well, the bulk edits literally couldn't be more self-explanatory. You can bulk edit the min and max prices and the rules of products. I'll show you when we go into RepricerExpress shortly, but that makes the whole process really, really quick. And again, was much better than how Amazon lay it all out. It was way too complicated. Also, that's bulk edits, but they also do bulk imports. Now, if you're like us and you use spreadsheets to analyze your purchases and all your data basically, then we have added sort of a section to our spreadsheets that populates all of our min and max prices for us. So it's quite, and so with that, we can take that data, put it into RepricerExpress's spreadsheets that they provide, and then upload it. And then instantly you've got everything set up. All of the rules for your SKUs, all of your min and max prices for your SKUs are all set up based on a spreadsheet input. And that is just, again, saves so much time, and it's just a really, really useful way if you use spreadsheets like we do for you to instantly upload loads and loads of SKUs and their repricing data. So we found that really, really useful. Yeah, so sort of leads me on. I think this is the final plus point I'm going to cover with RepricerExpress, but it's the main one really. It's the main reason I think everyone will get hooked to this is because you will see an increase in your sales. I pretty much guarantee it. It's been crazy really, the difference since we've been using RepricerExpress, but it shouldn't have. We should have realised that it was going to do this because it's a no-brainer. If you can have your finger on the pulse of the price of your products constantly and be tweaking and making sure that you'll compete for that buy box, well, then you're more likely to make sales compared to manually doing it, where you're not going to keep on top of it. You're not there constantly changing the price, whereas this does it for you. And yeah, it's been so valuable in increasing our sales. And again, unlike Amazon's Repricer and other repricer softwares that are out there, RepricerExpress doesn't reprice based on schedules. So for example, some of them will reprice every hour or every 2 hours or sometimes 12 hours, 24 hours. RepricerExpress reprices every single time one of your competitors changes their price on Amazon. So as I've said, it means that you're constantly got your finger on the pulse. Your products are always ready to react to the price of that listing. So that puts it head and shoulders above Amazon's Repricer and also other paid repricers that are out there. And with using RepricerExpress, you can basically know that you can beat anyone who's not using it because you're using a better software that's keeping on top of the price. And at the very least, anyone else who has RepricerExpress, at least you're level pegging. Yeah, so it's just really giving you the best chance of winning the buy box and making sales. Yeah, so that is, in a nutshell, our repricer journey, what's led to RepricerExpress and why I really rate RepricerExpress and why, yeah, all the plus points or the main plus points for it. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to have a quick look over at RepricerExpress's pricing structure, so you know what, if you do want to do it, what you've got to pay. And then I'll also do a very quick run through inside the software so you can have a look at it and see what you think, and I might just explain a few bits for you as well. So yeah, let's head over there now. Okay, so here I am. I'm on the RepricerExpress website, and I've gone on the pricing here just to have a look, and so we can look through it together and you can see what they offer. So straight away, look, they offer a free 15-day trial. I took this up, and as I said, I was hooked within about 2 days, 1.5, 2 days. I realised that it was just a must-have for us. But yeah, so that's the 15-day free trial. If you stay with me till the end, I've got a better offer for you, where you can get a little, well, not a little bit longer, much longer free trial through using one of our coupons. So hang on in there and I'll send that your way. So now on to the pricing. As you can see here, it's dependent on how many listings you have. Quite obviously, we started at the £39 mark with 2,500 listings, and that is a lot of listings. But as you can see, and you grow your business, it goes up in increments. I've gone through all the plus points. I don't need to go on too much. You might look at these prices and think, oh, that's a bit steep. But I genuinely can't stress enough how much this has not only saved time, so I can grow the business and make more money, so then it's paying for itself in that respect, but also the increase in sales has been just astonishing. So by paying this small amount, we've seen more profit and more sales in return. So for me, it really isn't that much for what you get and how it can grow your business. So yeah, that's for you guys to decide, see what you think. But I just thought I'd give you a little run through of the pricing structure there before we have a look through the software. So on that note, let's go over here. I should be logged in. Yeah, so here we are. We're inside. Now, before I go on, I should explain. We have two RepricerExpress accounts. One for when we first started online arbitrage, or should I say when we first started using RepricerExpress, and we were very much in our infancy with online arbitrage. Once we got the hang of it about 3 or 4 months later, we had a lot of deadwood in this account. So we wanted to start a new RepricerExpress account. So what I'm actually showing you is our old account where it's got a lot of products that probably weren't very good purchases on our part, and that so this is our lesser performing account, if you like. I hope you understand me not showing you our other RepricerExpress account, because it would show you some of our products, and Amazon's quite competitive as it is, so I don't want to be giving away too many of our good products, but as you'll see through here, the numbers don't look particularly great, and some of the products aren't very good either. But I just wanted to show you inside RepricerExpress rather than our account, so I hope you understand that. But anyway, now I've explained that, this is the dashboard. Now, the dashboard essentially, it shows you a load of sales data in relation to repricing, your actual sales, and then how well you're performing with regards to the buy box. So you know how I said about I like the user face and how it's all laid out. You can see here it's so clear and easy to follow. Everything's in nice graphs. The data's nicely put out. The numbers are nice and easy to see. And again, I make reference to this almost daily on our other RepricerExpress account. This one we just check in occasionally just to see whether we've still got any stock left. But yeah, so you can see the repricing. It shows you how many products are currently at your minimum price that you've set, how many SKUs you've actually got repricing. As you can see, we've only got 130 here, so thankfully we're nearly seeing the end of this account. And then you can look at sales. So again, this is what I said. I like how this is laid out. You can get this sort of information on Amazon, but it's quite handy seeing all the sales data. And again, you can see buy box performance and that sort of stuff there. So that is the dashboard for you. Obviously, I can go into more detail, and I might do some tutorials on that, on each aspect, and go into a lot more detail, but I just wanted to show you it. So that's dashboard. Let's look at my inventory. Now, specifically, let's click on channel overview. So within channel overview, as you can see here, you've got all your channels and how the product is being priced across your different channels. Here you've got the various different filter and search options where you can narrow down to find specific types of products. Interestingly, you'll notice that there's different colors here. So down the bottom, you can relate these colors as they're sort of coded down the bottom. So for example, anything in green, you know that is priced at your minimum price that you've set. And that's just an example of, I could talk through all of these, but just the at minimum, as these green ones here, you can see that means that product is being priced at the minimum that you've set. This is really handy to see, just to give you a snapshot overview of how your products are performing and how they're being priced. Again, like I said, you can use the filters to look at different types of products, but this is all the products and the different channels. If you want to see a bit more detail, you can actually click on a product, as you'll see here, and you get the product detail pop-up. Now again, here this has more detailed information on the specific product that you've clicked. You can see the marketplaces that you're in, all different bits and bobs in here, and it just gives you a bit more detail on the product itself if you wanted to see more than just the price and whether it's at its min, is it at its max, that sort of thing. On regards to product detail, as you can see here, you've got you can either go to it using the drop down or just click here. And it'll give you a blank page to begin with, but what you'll just do is, so it's got the marketplace that you want to look at, and you just, for example, let's just look at active listings, and click search. So this shows all your active listings that you've got in Amazon.co.uk, and as you can see, there's a bit more information here. So whereas channel overview gives you a bit of information, it only really shows you the price in each marketplace, and to see more you have to click on the product. Whereas if you go into product detail and select the marketplace, you can see a lot more information. So you can see what rule is currently being applied to this product. You can see how the competition are with regards to their pricing. You can see where you're priced, what position you are on the listing, all these sorts of things. So it's where you go to see more detail on your product and how it's performing. As I talked about in the presentation, you can bulk edit products and their rules and reprices. So you could click, for example, these four, click bulk edit products, and you can choose, you could turn all their repricing off. You can set their new min and max rules, you can set pricing rules. Again, as I said, this is really handy rather than having to do each product one at a time. Really, really handy. I rarely use it because what we do is, as I said, we upload a lot of our prices and rules via spreadsheets, but it just gives you another little look at something that might suit you a bit better. So that's the bulk edits option. Also under my inventory is the product status preferences, if I could click it. This is a really cool little add-on actually, and I haven't seen many people talk about it online, so I just really want to show you this. So what you can do is you can see this bestseller badge here. You basically put in criteria that would determine whether you saw a product as a bestseller, one of your best-selling products, and then it applies that badge, you can see here, to your product when you're looking at it on the My Inventory pages and things like that. You'll see this little logo next to it if it's a bestseller. So that's really cool to see. Likewise, there's the price war, where you'll see this little red bomb logo will be next to any products that seem to be in a price war with somebody else or lots of other sellers on a listing. So that will be how many times a product's price has changed within a certain period of time, and then they'll be applied with a price war badge. It's quite good to see this because it might be might highlight, for example, a product that you might not want to sell anymore because there's lots of sellers on it and the price is getting driven down and it's all getting a little bit silly and the profits are being squeezed. So that's why that's quite handy. And finally, low stock. Yeah, this is really cool. Not so important if you get the hang of automations and those sorts of things, because you can prevent yourself ever reaching low stock levels, but it's still handy if this pops up next to a product. You can see where you might need to address getting some more stock in, or you might be happy letting it run out, who knows. But it's quite handy to have that pop up next to any products that might be low on stock. Helps you keep track of things. So yeah, that's my inventory. Let's have a look at repricing. So let's pop into there and have a look at repricing rules. So yeah, as you can see here, it shows what rules you've currently got set up in each marketplace. And which ones are currently active. This little bit here, the pink squiggly line, shows any that are working alongside automations. So as you can see, we've got UK main repricer working alongside two other rules. And I can tell you now that what they are is if a product hasn't sold, they will be moved to one of these two rules, more aggressive rules, in the hope to sell them off. So that just gives you an insight into some sort of strategy as well while we're in here. So yeah, those are the rules. You can add your new repricing rule up here from a template or by using an empty rule where you might create your own from scratch. So with regards to templates, obviously you can access them from here, but also they've got them outlined here for you. So as you can see, there's quite a few to get you going. There's 4 basic ones and 2 advanced. And yeah, you can get going based on templates they've already created, which is really, really handy. So that's the repricing rules bit. So let's take a look at set initial min and max. So okay, there's nothing here, and that's because there's nothing or no SKUs or products within this account that need to have their min and max settings set up. So if you had any products that hadn't had their min and max values input, this is where they'd show, but this is empty at the moment. Finally, let's look at automations under repricing. Okay, much like the repricing rules, you can see your automations here, like you can see your rules in the first tab. And as you can see, we've only got 2 set up on this account. On our other one, we've got a lot more, because as I say, we got more advanced with that. This is when we were playing around and didn't necessarily know what we were doing, but once we got the hang of it, fantastic. And in our other account, I think we've got about 6 different automations. So yeah, just 2 in this one. So you can see those there. And again, much like rules, you can add a new automation here using a blank one where you start from scratch or from a template. And again, you can access templates from here as well. As you can see, they give you quite a lot of nice options to get going. Plenty there to get your teeth stuck into and start making a difference to your Amazon business. So really, really handy stuff. So lastly, let's have a look at imports and exports. Now, as I alluded to, we have our own spreadsheets, and that's how we determine our min and max prices and things like that. And then we take that data from our spreadsheets and put it into RepricerExpress's spreadsheets, because you have to have it in their format. And then we upload it, and then straight away we are off and running, and all of our products are being repriced. It's so quick, so easy, and yeah, found it really, really useful. So alongside the automations, I probably think this is my favourite feature actually, because of how we do our business with our spreadsheets. But yeah, so that essentially is a quick run through of the software. I've shown you bits and bobs, I've explained bits briefly. I understand that I haven't gone into much detail, but there is a reason for that, and I will explain so when we now pop back into the presentation. Hello, welcome back to the presentation. As I just alluded to when I was looking around the software, I didn't go into too much detail. I could have been there all day talking about each and every feature, explaining it all, and telling you why I like it so much. But instead, I've done a blog to do exactly that. So I'll sort of conclude now the video side of it. I've covered the pricing and repricing journey that we've been on, not just with OA, but with our private label business and what we use for each business. I've outlined why we use RepricerExpress and why we think it's so good. And you may be at a stage where you've heard enough and you're now convinced that RepricerExpress for you, which is great, and that you now want to go and use it. But if you're still unsure, which is understandable, then don't worry, because this is what I mean with the blog. Within the blog, it's literally called an in-depth RepricerExpress review. I've gone through each and every part of the software. I've explained it, how to use it, and then I've given a little review at the end, sort of my thoughts on it, and why I think it's good and how it can benefit your business. So I really recommend you give it a read if you're unsure if RepricerExpress is right for you or not. There genuinely isn't anything else out there currently like the review that I've done. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but it's very extensive. A lot of the reviews out there, the written ones anyway, are just a couple of paragraphs. I've gone into some real detail, so you should come out of that knowing RepricerExpress inside out, and then feel nice and ready to make a decision if it's right for you or not. So yeah, like I said, check out the link below to the blog and go give it a read, see what you think. So to conclude, I'll be honest, I have been throughout. For private label, we don't use RepricerExpress. Unless you've got a massive inventory, or maybe you want to set up automations, that might be a reason for it, to maybe detect any slow moving stock, and you might want to lower the price. Unless you're going to get it for those reasons, I really don't think that RepricerExpress is needed for a private label business. We don't use it for ours, so I'm not going to recommend it, but you may see a need for it. However, you can probably tell that with regards to Amazon arbitrage, and it'll be the same for wholesale sellers competing on listings, I highly recommend you get RepricerExpress. I was going to say you have to get it, but I can't tell you what to do. I highly recommend that you get RepricerExpress because of all the reasons that I've highlighted throughout. It really is a brilliant piece of software. It's taken our business to the next level. I'll just reiterate, it's user-friendly, obviously. I've shown you that as well. You can see how nice it is inside the software. You've got tutorials that you can follow. There's extra sales data in there. Massive time saver for you, so you can go away and grow your business. The rules and automations you can set up to tailor to any sort of scenario you can think of. The templates are there, really handy to get you going. Without them, I would have struggled, admittedly, so I recommend you use those. It improves your stock management. I've gone on about that. It's taken our stock management to another level. We now don't encounter long-term storage fees. Just fantastic. And then it's got the bulk edits and bulk imports option for speed and convenience for you. And I can't forget increased sales. It's what we're all in the game for. It's why we all do Amazon. We want those sales. And with RepricerExpress, we've seen increased sales. So for me, no-brainer. And as I said, I've said it as a no-brainer there, but you've got to set it up initially at the start. But once you've done that initial setup, it does all the hard work for you. So you can just sit back and let it do the work and bring in those sales. So now I've concluded, I've told you all you need to know. If you think you are ready to get going, then we would really appreciate eBusiness Boss if you would do so using the link below. It is an affiliate link, so we'll make a very small commission, but that small commission means we're able to keep putting out content like this for you. The cost of everything to keep this channel running and whatnot, those small commissions really help us out, so we'd really appreciate that. And what's great is it's no extra cost to you whatsoever, so sort of a win-win for everybody. And in fact, if you sign up through this link and then use our code, you get 30 days free trial instead of the 15 that we had when we first signed up. And so to confirm that, you basically just enter eBusinessBoss30 in the promo box when you sign up. As I say, if you're not convinced, that's fair enough. I completely understand, but that's why this 30-day free trial is so good, because I mean, I was convinced within 2 days. 15 days is probably enough, but with our 30-day trial, you've got plenty of time to get in there, figure it all out, see if it's right for you, and then make a decision on whether you want to continue or not. You really sort of have nothing to lose. You may as well give it a go. So as I've said in the presentation, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. Use the link below, use the code below, have a look around yourself. And if you're unsure, check out the blog because I explain further, and I think that might well convince you that it is the right thing for you. And that just brings me to say thanks, basically. I really appreciate you tuning in to listen. I hope we brought you some value. If this has just given you a taster and you're looking for a bit more value, then as I say, check out the blog. Got loads more information in there. So yeah, we'd really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and please leave a comment. If you've got any questions about repricing in general, RepricerExpress specifically, or maybe just Amazon selling, please leave a comment. We'll always get back to you. And again, any feedback you've got for us, positive or negative, we'll take it on. We're always looking to improve. So yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.